Hey guys, do you quit riding when it gets cold? It's 23 degrees for me this morning. Where are you at? What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, you know, it's 23 degrees like I mentioned earlier, and yet we're out here riding. And I have a lot of questions this time of year. You know, we know you ride the Himalayan all the time, you know, in all weather, but do you ride other motorcycles? Well, here we are on the Meteor 350. It's 23 degrees and we're out riding. You know, I've been doing this for my entire life, adult life on motorcycles, and let me give you a few tips on what I do to extend the riding season into cold weather. Well, one of the most common questions I get this time of year is, you know, Old Man Ronin, we know that you ride your Himalayan pretty much year-round, but do you ride other motorcycles? Well, let me give you a little tip. I've been riding motorcycles all year, in the cold weather even, since I was, well, just a kid, actually. And you know, whether it's Harley Davidsons or my Nortons or Triumphs or Honda even, insert your favorite brand of what motorcycle I had back in the day, I've always ridden it year-round, and it's just one of the things I've always done. Now, I'm not going to go out when there's like 1.5 feet of snow on the roads. That's not going to happen. But what I will do is ride, because I love to ride motorcycles, and I'm going to ride in any kind of weather as long as it's safe. And that's the key factor. But one of the most important things that I want to talk to you first about is your cold weather gear, your outfit that you're wearing. I went from using leather chaps and leather jackets. I mean, I'm telling you, I got stories where I would get off the motorcycle when it started having freezing rain, and it would literally crack off of me. Get out of the way there, cat. It would crack off of me when I'd stand up. I mean, I've been in all kind of situations like that. Now, right now, what I have on is a pair of these Kemimoto gloves, and I have the HWK ADV suit on, and then I have my 100% waterproof rubber boots that are insulated, but they have a steel toe as well too. I'm using the heel shifter on the Meteor 350, and that way I don't have to dig my foot underneath that front shifter, because my boots are so thick. So the heel shifter is another, tell you, it's one of the reasons why I love this bike so much. Is my Harleys have it like that too, and this bike has it, and it makes it a lot easier. I don't have to arch my foot down to get under the shifter when I shift up. All I can do is kick down on my heel, and man, I'm good to go. But that's the basic outfit. But there's a couple other tips that I like to do, and I'm going to insert those right here with a little voiceover. I like to put a set of nitrile gloves underneath my Kemimotos, because no matter what kind of gloves you've got, you're going to get some cold air through there. And those nitrile gloves that you see right here, they help break the wind underneath, and so your hands are going to be comfortable. Now, they don't breathe very well, so you have to be aware that you only want to do it in extremely cold temperatures, because your hands will start sweating because of the fact that it doesn't breathe at all. There's no air escaping or no air getting inside of them whatsoever. So you have to use your head. If it's only in the 30s or in the low 40s, you really don't need to put the rubber nitrile gloves underneath. But when you get down into temperatures like we got right here, because at 23 degrees at even just 35 miles an hour, this is the wind chill you're facing. What's another reason why I wear these rubber boots as opposed to wearing, you know, like a more traditional leather boot, because the fact of it is, it breaks the water and the wind 100%. There is no air getting inside of these boots whatsoever. I use these boots for a bunch of different things. I use it when I'm riding the Himalayan off-road, and I use them while I'm riding in cold weather, because they do block the 100% of the wind. And again, comfortability is really the reason why you want to do all this stuff. I mean, my hands right now are, I mean, they're right on the edge of being too warm, if you really want to know, because 23 degrees with this wind chill just isn't quite cold enough So I've got a little bit of moisture building up, and I don't really want to do that, but I wanted to show you guys exactly what I do. And that is one of the things that I do. I make sure that I have no wind, because wind is going to add to discomfort, and it really builds fatigue. And I guess that's the most important thing when you're talking about gear and you're riding, is make sure you don't get fatigued, because this cold air will bite it right out of you, man. It will take everything out of you. But again, to me, it's worth it, because I'm on a motorcycle and you're not. Are you jealous? Well, what's another thing that I want to recommend to you? Well, it's basic equipment and equipment maintenance. Before the cold weather starts, I like to adjust my oil. You know, change the oil, put a new filter in it, and lower the viscosity. Cold weather, I'll tell you, I know a lot of guys that have, you know, the big oil coolers in their on their bikes. You know, like the Continental 650 and the Interceptor, and motorcycles like that have a pretty good size oil cooler on them. I know a lot of guys that actually put a shutoff valve on that, and what they do is they don't want to overcool the oil, and then you can keep running the same kind of oil. But with these particular bikes, like when my Harleys, when I like to run a lot of straight weights, or maybe like a 20W50, I might drop it down to a 20W40 in cold weather months. And the same thing is true with the Himalayan, and of course this motorcycle here, I would definitely drop it down to a 20W40, and let your engines run a little bit. Don't just hit the engine and go. Let it run 4 or 5 minutes before you get on it and take off. I always like to do that, even in the summertime. I like to let maybe not as long, but I like to let the engines run a little bit before I get on there, and that way I know I'm in good shape and I'm not causing any friction in the engine by starting it to run before it gets fully up to either operating temperature, or to get the full lubrication moving through the entire engine. That's really important. So using a lower viscosity oil in the winter only, and also using or letting it run for 4 or 5 minutes before you get on and start running, really important. The first thing you want to realize right away is, with cold tires, you're not going to have the grippiness that you're going to have like in summertime. This time of year, it's going to take quite a little bit of time to get the tires to have enough temperature to have a little bit better adhesion to the road than when you do, you know, when you're first starting out. So when you're first starting riding the motorcycle, you know, make sure that you take it easy, which you should be doing this time of year anyway. Another thing I like to tell people is, you don't really know when you're going to encounter a slick surface. You know, right today we have pretty much an even sunlight. It's just kind of cloudy, kind of gloomy, so you're not going to have those hidden spots that you're going to have on a sunny day. On a sunny day, you have a shady area. It may be slick on those shady areas. You may have some black ice or just regular ice on them. When you're braking, guys, use more, particularly on a slick surface, use more rear brake. You have to adjust your braking. I know we always talk 60-40 brakes in the summertime. Use more of your front brake. Well, in the wintertime, you want to use more of your rear brake, because that's the place where that way it keeps that front end from diving in or out from under you. Because if you're putting a lot of pressure on that front end, she may slip right out from under you, and you don't want to do that. So start to train yourself immediately by using that rear brake a lot more. Use maybe 60-40 rear as opposed to 60-40 front in the wintertime months, because that way you're guaranteed to have more control. But I also really, and I do this year-round anyway, I use engine braking a lot. And I'll tell you, the Meteor 350 is a great motorcycle to demonstrate that. No! So what I was saying before the battery died was, not only do I change my braking aspects for slowing down in this kind of bad weather, that I also like to use engine braking. Combination of engine braking and slight braking will give me the ability to come to a fairly quick stop by using mostly the rear brake with a little bit of front brake put in there as well to it, because you really want to slow down on the corners. Those cold tires and unknown road surfaces, black ice, are really big, important dangers when you're talking about that. But again, like I mentioned before, like we saw some wet spots right there. Those places are possibilities of being slippery, and you really, really want to watch that. I mentioned briefly earlier about fatigue, and I think that's kind of one of the most important factors when you are riding in cold weather. Know when you're done, guys. There's a point in time where you're going like, man, you know, I'm getting pretty tired. You know, one of the things of hypothermia is sleepiness. And when you start getting fatigued, you could be, particularly if you're cold and you're not really, you know, you just want to tough it out. Sometimes you just need to pull over and get warmed up and just be done. Be done with riding for the day. Sometimes that's the smartest thing a rider can do, is to know when to stop riding. You know, I really do enjoy riding. There's virtually nobody on the road, which in the country that's even better still, because there's hardly anybody in the road back here anyway. But you just get to see such beautiful scenery, and you're by yourself and you can contemplate different things as you're riding, and you get to enjoy, I don't want to say nature so much, but you get to enjoy the outdoors. And like I say, if you're a motorcyclist, the reason why you are is because you get to experience this kind of stuff, guys. It's just, and I really want to ride as much as I possibly can. I love riding motorcycles. And so I'm going to ride in pretty much any time I possibly can, in any kind of weather I possibly can. Again, you have to use your head. Don't go out when you've got 1.5 inches of freezing rain all over the roads. That's just not smart whatsoever. And also don't go out when there's like 1 foot of snow on the roads. That's not smart either. But realize that days like today, even though it's cold, you can go out and ride comfortably in, like I said, 23 degrees and having a wind chill of, well, whatever that is. We'll post it here in the corner. What a beautiful day it is. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. We went over some tips of what I do for cold weather riding. And again, I do this without any heated gear whatsoever. I don't have a single heated piece of equipment. And it's not saying I never would. I just never have. And I've got myself in the position that I can ride in pretty much any kind of temperature that's safe in any kind of weather, and I have absolutely no issue. Well, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification button, share and comment. You know I read all the comments, and comment on as many as I possibly can. Until next time, guys, ride safe and keep her on 2 wheels, baby.